Good morning, class. Today we have with us one of my student, Miss Bhoomika, yes, from 3rd CZBT to present her seminar talk on renewable and non-renewable resources of energy. Okay, later she'll be also talking on conservation of natural resources. Okay, now over to Bhoomika.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, everyone. This is Bhumika from final year CZBT. I'm here to present a seminar on topic renewable and non-renewable resources of energy and conservation of natural resources. Before going to the topic, let me give you a clear picture about what are the topics covered in today's session. So, yes, this is simple and general topic which we have learned from school days. Firstly, we'll see about natural resources and its classification based on availability and uses. That's renewable and non-renewable resources and their advantage and disadvantage. At last, conservation of natural resources. After all this, we'll see some previous year university questions. So we'll start with natural resources. These natural resources, all of the Earth's organism, air, water, soil, as well as materials such as oil, coal, and ore that are removed from ground. So natural resources is what we require to live. And since we live on Earth, we get our resources from Earth. There are a lot of different types of natural resources. It could be air you breathe, the water you drink, soil, minerals, animals, metals, plants, and all of these are getting from our environment. Another thing you should understand about natural resources is that they are not uniformly distributed on our planet. So we'll see classification of natural resources. So we have natural resources in land, forest, animal, agriculture, mineral, and marine. So classification of natural resources based on availability. These natural resources are broadly classified into two types based on its availability. This is renewable resources, which is inexhaustible, and non-renewable resources, which are exhaustible resources. We'll go for renewable resources. Renewable resources are any resource that cycles or which can be replaced within a human lifespan. Shortly, I can say renewable resources are limitless, but we have to make sure that our energy sources are not only renewable but also sustainable. So, just because it's renewable, it doesn't mean it's sustainable. For example, wood. It is a wonderful form of renewable biomass energy, but if you use too much of it, then it leads to deforestation. So we'll see some of renewable resources. So that is food and fibers. Food and fibers are renewable agricultural resources that can be harvested or raised indefinitely. Unless their use exceeds the rate, they can be replaced. So next is soil. Soil, we know soil is a mixture of living organism and dirt. Even though it initially takes thousands of years to form, the rate at which soil can regenerate usually depends on the climate of an area. So please have a look to this example pictures. Next, wind. Wind is caused by uneven heating of earth. It's not only renewable but also inexhaustible. It does not exhaust. Sun, we know that the light from the sun supports all the life on the earth, and even this is also inexhaustible, at least for next 5 billion years. Water, we know water is constantly renewed by the water cycle. However, freshwater resources are somewhat limited, so the use of quality of water must be carefully monitored to ensure the future use for our next generation. So have a look to these pictures. Next is biomass fuels. These biomass fuels are organic matter that contains stored solar energy. For example, wood, plant, animal residue, etc. Inverts supply 15% of energy or from this. Geothermal energy. In this, the heat generated deep within the Earth's crust, which are fueled by the decay of radioactive elements. So these are the pictures. Next, we'll go for non-renewable resources. Non-renewable resources are any resource that cannot be replaced during the time of human lifespan. Then such resources are called non-renewable resources. That which millions of years to form, it takes millions of years to form and exist in fixed amount in the earth. Simply, I can say it's limited in this world. So they need to be conserved before they become depleted. So we'll see some of the examples for non-renewable resources. First, fossil fuels. These fossil fuels are also called as conventional fuels. These are non-renewable because they take millions of years to form. In developing countries, fossil fuels are fossilized wood, charcoal, and peat. In developed countries, the fossil fuels are mainly coal, natural gas, and oil. Don't you think we really do live in the age of fossil fuels? Most of the energy that I'm using and you're using right now is probably coming from coal, oil, and natural gas. These are really driving the economic right now. We live in a society where the whole infrastructure is built on fossil fuels, but they have problem. They are non-renewable, so they are finite. It will run out. If we use that up, it's gone. It's not gonna come back within our lifetime. And also they are polluting the atmosphere too, especially carbon dioxide. That's leading to global warming. So we have to reduce the amount of energy that we are using, and we also have to move more towards renewable forms of energy. So next is coal. Coal is the remains of wet land plants that have been compressed over millions of years. We have different types of coal, that is pit, lignite, bituminous, and anthracites. Pit, it contains about 50% of carbon. The rest of all is water and contaminants. Lignite, this is a brown coal. Pictures I will be showing in the next slide. This contains about 70% carbon. Bituminous is soft coal which contains 85% carbon, whereas this anthracite is hard coal, which contains more than 90% carbon. This is cleanest and least abundant. Cleanest burning and least abundant. So have a look to these pictures. That is pit, lignite, and anthracites and bituminous. So petroleum and natural gas. These are remains of marine organisms, which this typically found in underground formation called traps with natural gas trapped on top and oil on the bottom. So pictures. Now we'll see some alternative energy resource which are more renewable and environment friendly when compared to fossil fuels. Those are solar, wind, geothermal, hydropower, and nuclear and biomass. First, we see solar energy. Solar energy can be used to heat buildings and water. It also provides electricity. Here you can see south facing windows on side of house. This would be example for passive heating system. You can see here these are solar cells that collect and converts the sun's energy into electricity for residential use. Wind. Wind turns gained wind turbines. Then that produces electricity. In India, this year, recently on September 30, total installed wind power capacity is 38,130 megawatts and expected to reach 60,000 megawatt by 2022. Karnataka has total 4,753 megawatt generation capacity. Hydropower. Here, what happens? The energy of water stored behind dams is turned into electricity. Currently, there are 34 dams in Karnataka, which produces electricity with total installed capacity 8,846.4 megawatt. So, these are the differences and similarities between renewable and non-renewable resources in Venn diagram. Advantage and disadvantages of renewable energy resource. What are the advantages? They will never run out. They don't damage our planet. They are low maintenance energy resource. They bring good economic benefits at regional levels. There are some disadvantages too. There are unreliable weather can affect energy. It's hard to produce the same amount as non-renewable sources. These are some advantages and disadvantages of renewable energy resources. So our next topic is conservation of natural resources. Before going to the topic, understand this. Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. So think about this and conserve resources. What is calling for our attention? India as India is a country blessed with the rich natural resources, but from the research we found that resources are depleting every day. For example, forest and arable land. Arable land is a land which is suitable for growing crops. It's being depleted due to urbanization, overpopulation, and overconsumption. Wildlife resources are being lost due to illegal poaching, hunting, industrialization, and also water resources are being contaminated or drying up due to industrialization. So, what we should do? What's our duty? It's our duty is to avoid all this and conserve our resources. So, we'll see how natural resources are conserved in India. The government of India has undertaken many measures for the conservation of resources. Some of them are regulations and reforms for proper housing and infrastructure development to avoid land acquisition problems, and mass media public service messages to educate the people on the importance of conservation of resources and increase the wildlife and forest reserves in the country, schemes to do proper inventory of the resources and monitor changes in the environment, and also various projects and schemes that promote conservation of resources. As a responsible citizen, we should mainly conserve soil, water, biodiversity, and forest, all these things. So, first we'll see how to conserve soil. So, what is aim of soil conservation? Soil conservation is to prevent or at least to minimize the soil loss. In order to do this, proper land utilization coupled with agricultural practice should be adopted. There are some methods to conserve soil. There are crop rotation, mulching, strip cropping, and dry farming method. First, crop rotation. By this, the fertility of the soil increases and also it increases the yield of crops. When alternatively cereal and legume is grown in the same field, and this also help to check soil erosion also. So the next is mulching. Here what happens? The interculturing operations will kill weeds, and soil mulches help the plants to root it firmly in the soil. So strip cropping is an agricultural practice of growing plants in suitable strips in the field. Dry farming method. Usually this is practiced in areas where there is a low rainfall, so in this method, only crops which can sustain very low rainfall are grown. So These are some images of soil conservation. There is mulching, strip farming, crop rotation, and dry farming. Conservation of water. A step to conserve water is a step to secure the future. We know most of essential among all the natural resources on the earth is water, but still we pollute and waste it in various ways. You know this proverb, a drop of water is worth more than a sack of gold for the thirsty man. Don't you think it's true? You don't want your gold, only water all he needs when he was thirsty. So we should conserve water to reduce the scarcity of water. So there are some ways to save water. We'll see what are those. First, you have to start from your home. So avoid leakage of water from the taps. Turn the tap off when not in use, especially while brushing teeth or washing clothes. And rainwater harvesting is also a method to conserve water. The water supply should be limited in the areas where they enjoy unlimited water supplies. Some of the technical methods to conserve water are rainwater harvesting, historical water bodies, and ponds. So have a look to this water conservation images. So see, this is how water being wasted in cities of India. So please save life by saving water. Next is forest conservation. Before going to the topic, here you can see this is how cruelly animals are being killed by the people to make leather bags and leather stuffs. So this won't look fair, really. This conservation of forest. By knowing the importance of forest in our life, the people all over the world have stopped unnecessary deforestation. Even our government has made laws to prevent unnecessary felling trees and also declared certain forests as protected areas. These protected areas are also called as reserves and wildlife sanctuaries. Here, no one is allowed to hunt animals. There are about 150 wildlife sanctuaries in India. So it consists of most beautiful and rare animals. So the people will come from various countries, and so this is the people come from the countries, and to see this here what happens, the people feel so beautiful to see the different animals. Okay, next, deforestation in Amazon and African rainforests. So, being an Indian, we should know this. In our Indian constitution, there is a legislature for conservation. Various laws and acts have been passed for the protection and conservation of various natural resources. Some of them are Environment Protection Act 1986, Forest Conservation Act 1980, SIPCO Movement 1988, and many more. So these are some questions from previous year university question papers. These are the few books and websites I refer. So thank you all for your attention, patience, and time. Thank you, Pratibha ma'am, for the opportunity. It is a very first experience for me. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, well done, Miss Bhumika. I request
Thank.
you to go to the previous slides of question paper. Just read out the questions.
Okay, ma'am. So questions that are asked from this chapter is, what is renewable energy resources? Non-renewable energy resource, that is asked in 2009 and also in 2006. Conventional fuels, that is a very important question. It is asked in 4 years. So next is, give any two examples for alternative source of energy. What are biofuels? What are conventional fuels? Comment on their environment impact. These are the questions.
Okay,
As the previous.
thank you, Bhumika, for your wonderful presentation. And the discussion class will be going through in offline class. Okay,
Okay.
and whatever the information, where some of the information to be added or to be exceeded, no, we'll discuss during our interaction class. Okay, thank you for your
Okay, ma'am.
wonderful presentation. Okay,
Thank you so much, ma'am.
yeah, you're welcome. And thank you everyone for being with us. We'll be back with some more other presentations, so stay tuned with us. Thank you.